So this network was started for $600,000 when you founded it, and in '97 it was sold again.
In 98.
98, I'm sorry, was sold again. And what was it sold for in 1998?
$4.5 billion.
$4.5 billion. Pretty good return on investment for that.
Yeah, I think it was fairly unique. And you know, today I know people think, well, Facebook is worth $50 billion, and you know, Google. I was an angel investor in Google. That was nice, 50 cents a share.
Nice.
You know, I mean, the magnitude. I think about, you know, it took me 20 some years to build something up for $4.5 billion, and you know, it seems like today, you know, rub two matchsticks together and you've got 50 billion. I don't know. I mean, it's not quite that easy. I know it's not. But look, I could be in your seat and do it all over again. That would be exciting. But you don't get any do-overs in life, you know. And yeah, so you know, it's. I think there are just great opportunities out there. There are an enormous number of opportunities out there. They're just different, and the difference is today there's no barrier. And I'm talking about the media business now. There's no barrier to entry, and that is great, and also a bigger challenge. Because in a lot of ways, it was a benefit to have a barrier to entry. You had to get on the cable system, and you know, it was a distribution system that was closely controlled. But when you were in it, you ruled it. You know, today, the consumer rules everything. And it's a bigger challenge, but it also does not cost the kind of, you know, after, it was $104 million to launch a Sci-Fi channel. That's how the industry changed in that period of time. You know, I made the company profitable within 4 years, and you know, it's worth several $billion today. But, you know, the times changed and they got more challenging, and now there's a different, there are different models and different opportunities. But and you're better equipped to know what they are because you're born to them. I'm not. I mean, you know, I'm older, but I work in the digital media today.
Well, what's fascinating as you discuss this is the parallel between what you observed and acted on in the early days of cable. There were no cable networks, there was no original programming, there was no sports. And it seems so similar to what we're reading in the paper this week with the shift, you know, however it may be happening, to online networks and online opportunities where Netflix just acquired the first original programming with you know, Kevin Spacey's series. It sounds, you know, shift forward 30 years and it's almost identical. It
is. It's a different technology. A different opportunity, but a very rich opportunity, I think. And you know, the interesting thing, it's instantly global. And that's another interesting aspect of it. You know, there's just, every generation has its challenges and its opportunities, I think, and the field it's green fields out there. You know, I'm working in a lot of areas. I work in venture capital. I see a lot of, I have a Bold Cap Ventures, which is a venture capital fund that is fully invested now. But I work a lot with people that are, you know, developing new products for this marketplace, for social media and so forth, and it's fascinating. I mean, there's just, again, the spectrum is just wide open. It's green fields again, and you know, you have great opportunities. It's about your imagination, your own passion, and your ability to go out there and execute, you know. So I think it's a wonderful time.
That's the beauty of it, is not only the barriers that you said, but in that particular business, distribution is everything. And it used to be you had to have a place at the table. You know, in the old days it was ABC, CBS, NBC. In the cable days it was, you know, Time Warner, Comcast, Disney, Discovery. They all have these blocks that you have to go to. And now, maybe not so much, now that things are migrating.
Well, I think that's the big fight with net neutrality. I think probably people in the room know about net neutrality and the issues in Washington, D.C. And, you know, governments do have policy setting procedures that do govern, in some ways, you know, what you can do or what's open to you. And there's a big fight about that because, you know, if you're a media company, large media companies today feel extremely threatened by over the top, meaning networks on broadband. And Netflix is a big threat. You know, Google's going to jump in, believe me. You got the YouTubes, and you got, you know, you got Google, and you got Google, and you got Netflix, and you got Facebook, and they're all going to be in there trying to go over the top. They'll do partnerships with the cable operators, and they'll also try to come over the top with, and you know, you have these huge revenue streams. If you're a media company and you own these networks, hey, that's great. It's also threatened. I mean, look what we learned from the music industry. It's about, you know, destroyed the music industry in large. It's coming back with new models, but you can't stop the future. I mean, that's one of the things I think you have to, everybody has to learn, is that when the consumer or the things are moving towards the future of these new things, you cannot, you can time up in the courts for a little while, but you're not going to win that. You just have to figure out how are you going to participate in it. And it's a big challenge for the studios, for the television industry today. Big, big challenge. Great opportunities, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I have to say, from a personal point of view, I look at what's going on in North Africa, what's going on in Algeria, what's going on in Egypt, Tunisia, even now Saudi Arabia, Yemen. I mean, it goes back to my original idealistic, you know, time in college, and thinking about the freedom of the human mind. And while you cannot, once you free the human mind, you cannot recapture it. And, you know, there's going to be wars, and I don't know what's going to happen in Liberia or any other country, or, you know, that is going on out there. That every one of those North African countries is facing its own things, its own challenges. But I don't think you'll ever put people back in the box. They're not going to give up.